Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Happy hump day. It's hump day for the week, but technically it's a little over hump day for the work week because most of y'all, including myself, are off on Friday for the 4th. And even if you don't celebrate it, just kick your feet back. Like, I don't necessarily agree with whatever belief systems are behind every holiday, but honey, you will be mistaken if you think I'm not about to kick my feet up, eat some good food, drink, and watch some fireworks, because period. Okay, so I'm excited about that. Many of y'all already know I relocated from Indiana to Texas, so this is my first time celebrating hosting something at my house. So, you know, my husband's family, immediate family who lives here, is going to come over. My mom is flying in town from Indiana with my niece, and I'm excited. Like, we're going to throw a little something here, you know. So put some on a grill and, you know, have a good time. So I'm excited about that, and I hope you guys enjoy your plans as well. On my personal channel, I just posted 5 remote jobs. I have a training start date starting August 18th. And for the young lady who asked me about overnight positions, I listened to you, girl. I have 2 overnight positions on that video as well. So make sure you check that video out. 5 jobs. I post weekly remote jobs, anywhere from 12 to 13 per week. Okay, so I will post that in the comments below, plus story time. I did a vlog over the weekend. All that good stuff's on my personal channel. Okay, so today's video, y'all, is going to be a good old dates from hell compilation. When I tell y'all these never get old, like we are constantly hearing these stories like regularly. I hope they never get rid of TikTok because I just love it. Okay, it's so unfiltered, it's so funny. So I want y'all to hear that, and then we're gonna have the conversation at the end about it.
So I have a story time about the most unhinged first date that I've ever been on. Okay, so a couple of years ago, I moved in. A friend and I moved into this new apartment together. She was my roommate, and the first night there, I had nobody to help me move my stuff. And so I arrive, I park my car, I start taking stuff out of my car, taking it up. I think we were living at the time on a 3rd floor apartment, if I'm not mistaken, 3rd or 2nd floor, something like that. So these 2 guys come walking by as I'm struggling with all my stuff, and one of them goes, "Hey, do you need help?" The other guy didn't really look like he wanted to help, but you can tell that this dude was going to be persistent about it. So they start immediately helping me get all my stuff upstairs. We literally get everything upstairs in like 4 minutes. Phenomenal, because I had literally a trunk full of stuff. So we've got everything upstairs. And in hindsight, thinking about it now, I probably should have said no, because you don't want people knowing where you live, and especially because of the end of the story. But, you know, I was just a girl, and I was like 21. So we get upstairs, and the guy is like, "Oh, you're very beautiful. I'd love to take you out for dinner, da da da." Honestly, he was not my type. Let's start there. Number 2, I did feel a little bit obligated too. I'm not even going to sit here and lie. I felt obligated because they just helped me bring my stuff upstairs. He's asking me for a date. He's not my type, but he's not ugly. I'm single. I'm like, let's see where this goes. New crib, new man, who this, right? Wrong, girl. So the guy's like, "Let's go on a date tonight. Here's my number." I start texting back and forth with him. Red flag number 2. He goes, during text, "What do you like to do?" I'm like, "You know, I love to go out to eat. I like comedy clubs, da 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 da." I start telling him all my likes. And he goes, "Let's go to the casino." Odd choice for a first date. But my 21-year-old brain said, "A casino? First date? Let's go." Girl, for what was that? We get to the casino. Upon entry, he sits down at a specific machine. He's like, "I come here all the time. This is like my favorite pastime." Does not even hand me like $50 to gamble, $100, nothing, not even $20. Mind you, you invited me on this date, right? So you would expect that if this is a date and you are inviting me to the casino, then you're also going to give me some money to play, right? Wrong. Dude never gives me not even $5 to play. I'm also not big on gambling, so I wasn't using my own money. So I just kind of stand behind him on this game. It was either like Russian roulette. It was some type of card game, but you sit at the machine. So he's playing. He's putting in 10, 20, he's hitting, and then it gets to a point where like he puts some money in, he loses, he puts some more in, and the machine like swallows it. Something happens where there's a malfunction. In between all of this, we had gone outside, and this was literally a foreshadowing. We had gone outside because he smoked cigarettes, so he's smoking a cigarette. I'm talking to him. I'm kind of a little bit annoyed because, like, sir, I've been standing behind you for like 30 minutes. Just, this is not my idea of a date. And a man comes out and he starts talking about how he had a really serious gambling addiction and he had to go to like rehab for it. My foreshadowing like crazy, right? He's like, oh yeah, I had to go to rehab. So now I just come and I kind of have a couple of drinks and I leave to test my willpower, yada, yada, yada. Who knows what's the truth? So we go back inside. He keeps playing. He loses like $40 and then he's like, F this, let's go. Mind you, he's getting visibly upset every time he loses. So mind you, I mentioned before he had put some money in and the money got swallowed up by the machine. So he calls over an attendant. He starts explaining to the attendant that the machine swallowed his money, and the attendant's like, okay, sir, I understand. We just have to review the cameras. Girl. For what was that? He starts losing his absolute mind. His absolute mind in that casino. Why the F do you guys have to review the cameras? I come here all the time. I'm a paying customer. And this is protocol. Like, no casino is just going to be like, oh, yes, sir, you deposited $20. Let's just give you a free $20 without verifying. So she calls over someone else, the manager. The manager tells him the same thing. Now he is making a full-blown scene in this casino. I am not the kind of girl that you make a scene around. I am so embarrassed. I literally want the ground to just open up like ground zero. Swallow me now, right? So finally, they keep insisting that they will have to review the cameras, give it a couple of minutes. They're not even telling him no. They're literally telling him, give me a couple of minutes. He goes, you know what? F this. I'm never coming back to this. Leaves the casino. So now we're in the car, and I feel the tension. And he, like, keeps talking about this, yo. Like, he's going off. And those effing people. And I'm just like, sir. So I trigger him. I come up and I'm like, well, it was only $20. He goes, what? What you mean it's only $20? And I'm like, listen, honestly, I don't think you should be gambling if this is your reaction when you go and leave the casino. You've made this date extremely uncomfortable for me. I'm scared. He's like speeding down the highway. So he goes, so you're saying I have a gambling addiction? You're saying I have a gambling addiction, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm just saying that maybe you should not be gambling. This is a very extreme reaction. He goes, get out my car. Mind you, we're in the middle of the highway. I'm like, I am not getting out of your car. You are driving me all the way home. He goes, out the car. I'm going to pull over and drag you out. Mind you guys, I am 5'8". At the time, I was a lot skinnier. But I was probably his age or an inch taller. So I stand my ground. It's also 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, yes, I'm in New York. I can get a cab. But that was not I have never in my life been kicked out of anything in my life. Ever. So I was like, absolutely not. You're driving me home, and if you try to assault me, you will see what will happen. Because I'm not no little chick. So I think he thought about it. He drove me home. He leaves me at home. This man proceeds to text and call me all night long saying that he's going to send family members to my house to beat me up, that he knows where I live. Like, of course, none of that ever happens, but the unhingedness of it all. I mean, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. So, moral of the story. If a guy invites you on a date and it's a casino and it's a first date, red flag. Don't feel obligated to say yes to someone for a date, especially if you're not attracted to them or you're getting weird energy from them, because you ultimately don't owe anybody anything. And just never let anyone know where you live, because I would be lying if I was not. I mean, I was prepared and ready for someone to come pull up on me, But you just shouldn't have to go through that all because someone knows where you live. I would be lying if I said that I was not a little bit nervous. So that was my story of the most unhinged date that I've ever been on. If you want to hear more unhinged stories, because my life is clearly a movie, just go ahead and comment story time, and I will give you guys more stories of the craziness that I have encountered with people in my life. And if you made it this far, you're a real one.
So I went on a date for the first time after becoming a single mother, and in this new world of dating, I did not know that you had to be loyal and committed to the person after going on one date. I've decided to put my big girl pants on and get out in the real world, okay? So, I was giving him a chance essentially. Mind you, he was applying so much pressure. So I'm like, okay, why not? You seem to be putting in effort. I'm gonna give you a shot. So for safety reasons, I did drive my car and meet around his place, parked in a parking lot, so that way there'd be something that's secured and, for safety purposes. From then on, he took me out. And as far as the outing, I have no complaints. It was great. I had a great time. I genuinely did. And I still have no complaints on it. Things took a left turn, literally. First red flag was the speeding. I can respect if you slide. I can respect if you do that, but don't do that with me in a car. That's not my speed, pun intended. And after a few times, he did slow down. He did drive normal, but that seemed to upset him, and it was an awkward silence. You could cut the tension with a knife. And at that point, I'm in someone else's vehicle. I don't want to say anything to make anyone mad. I don't know the guy. I don't know what he's capable of, so I just shut up. I was just mute. At this point, he's taking me back to my car, So I'm walking on eggshells at this moment. We pull up next to my car. Thank God, thank you Jesus, I made it there safe. I haven't been catered to in a while. I haven't been taken out in a while. So his reasoning of his dislike of me not liking the speeding thing was that I've never talked to anyone who handles business. Handling business has nothing to do with considering your date, but oh well. And me being the understanding person that I am, I met in the middle. I was just like, okay, well, how about this? Whenever we go places, I can take my own vehicle. Essentially, I was just basically saying we can meet in the middle and compromise. You can do what you do. You can slide and do it. You can do that by yourself. But me, I'm not gonna endure it. I will pull up to wherever you are from now on, and we can chat. We can chop it up. We can still hang it that way. I don't think you're too much like that either. Because I asked, like, okay, well, we can sit here and talk, and we can conversate and see how he vibes still. He wasn't having it. He just shook his head. So ego crushed. I ain't gonna lie, it hurt me a little bit. Cause dang, I'm not worthy to be around now. What I do? That was the second red flag right there. So I'm on my way home. Mind you, my baby is with my granny. So I'm going to my hometown. I'm not going to my place. He's like, where are you going? You're not gonna stay here in town. You're going down there. Yes, I have to go see my child. I get home, I give him my number because we have been communicating on Snapchat from this point. He tells me to call him. I call him. We're conversating about the whole experience. Next thing you know, he's asking me if I talk to other people, and I'm like, well, yeah, of course. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it was a date. We're dating. That's allowed, right? We're grown, correct? I'm an honest girl. I'm gonna lay it out. I'm gonna tell you how it is. Simple. Keyword date, not sleeping around. I expressed to him that, like, I believe that we should both be dating and exploring options. That I wouldn't be offended if he went on other dates, and he shouldn't be offended that I would either, because we just went on the first date. We don't know each other. So his claims were that he wasn't that type of person, that he didn't want to date multiple people. He just wanted to focus on one person. I respect that, but that's not how I'm rolling. I don't owe anyone that I don't know loyalty. That doesn't even make sense. We're not even in the talking stage. Matter of fact, I'm not even a girlfriend, and you want me to be loyal to you? Final and third red flag. My guy tells me I don't want nothing to do with this. I'm gonna leave it alone. Before I can even get anything out, he hangs up. And I'm removed on every social media platform. I didn't text him back to see if I was blocked, but I'm pretty sure I am. I went ahead and blocked him on TikTok, so he won't see this. But expecting someone's loyalty after the first date and not even knowing a person is crazy. But I didn't judge him. I feel like he was valid in his reasonings, and I was valid as well. I'm glad we at least got that out the way first so there wouldn't be any further miscommunications. At the end of the day, I'm proud of myself for getting out there. I'm proud of myself for stepping outside. That's a huge win for me as a single mother because I've been shut in for a while. And with that being said, I have another date coming up.
Okay, story time of the awful date I went on with the man who is basically a sociopath. I went on a date with this man. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at my last video. And the date went really well. We got drinks. We were having a good time. We were hitting it off. I thought he was super cute. We were just vibing very well. And we decided to go back to his place to have more drinks. Now, may that be my first mistake? Sure. But the thing about me is I will only go back to a guy's place after a date if I have vibed so well that I just want it to continue, and I also am very adamant, like, I get it out of the way, like, I'm not hooking up with you, you know? I have only gone back to a guy's place like 1 or 2 times in my entire dating history, so it was saying a lot of how good this date was actually going. So we get into his place, and he immediately, like, I don't want to say changes a bit, but he had 2 cats. And he like immediately went to them and started calling them chickens and was like spreading them out on the floor, rubbing their belly. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a cat and I talk to my cat like a weirdo, so I didn't really think too much of it. But then he started getting odd. So he gets me a drink. I just grabbed a beer from the fridge. He made himself a drink, and he literally, we're sitting on the couch and he's like, can I read you a poem? Now I'm looking around at his apartment and like the books are all color coded, like whatever. He's a neat guy, I guess. I don't know. So he's like, can I read you a poem? Well, I'm not going to be rude. Like, sure, if you really want to. Grabs a book and starts reading me a poem from Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. Reads me a poem. I don't know what the hell he's saying. He's like, can I read you another? And by this point, let me also add, like, the social awkwardness of this man was crazy. Like, in the bar on the date, he was normal. Like, he had good social cues. He was talking normally, acting normally. And then the minute we got into his apartment, he was, like, being weird. I'm like, maybe he's just nervous, but he was acting, like, very socially awkward and just odd. So he's like, can I read you another poem? I'm like, sure, go ahead. Reads me another poem. He's like, can I read you a third? I'm like, no. And I just asked him a question about his tattoo. So by this point, I'm like, okay, things are a little weird. But again, like the date was so well that I'm kind of just like bypassing this info. Like, again, maybe he's nervous. Maybe he's getting a little tipsy. I don't freaking know. We start like making out and that's fine. But then he visibly, obviously starts like wanting to hook up with me, and I was like, you yourself said you didn't want to. I told you I didn't want to. Like, why are you trying to hook up with me? Sorry. So we go back to like normal conversation. Again, I'm kind of just like bypassing what just occurred, I feel. And then somehow, like, I can't remember, my sock kind of comes off, and the way this man looked at my foot, I'm like, do you have a foot fetish? Now, don't get me wrong, we do not kink shame around here. Is that my cup of tea? No, it is not. So he's like, no, like getting all flustered. Like, no, I don't have a foot fetish. Like, no. I'm like, it's okay if you do. Like, I just want to know. And he's like, no, like, I mean, you have cute feet, but like, no, which is valid. Like, people have cute feet. I have cute feet. Thank you. I'm moving on. No, we did not move on. 3 separate times. Now, obviously, like, this occurred through the rest of the evening I was there, and that's when I kind of decided to leave. But 3 separate times, this man asked to see my feet. 3 separate times. Like, I said no 3 times. No! I just dropped all of my elastics, basically. But yeah, so 3 separate times this man asked me to see my feet, which, like, the whole, I shouldn't have to say no more than once. Crazy. But anyways, going back to, like, post foot fetish, he does admit to having a foot fetish, and that's when I guess he felt comfortable to ask me 3 separate freaking times to see my feet. Now this is where I really was like, what am I doing? Okay. And I got the hell out of there. We were making out and I have to like reenact a little bit. He was sitting and I had my head like on his lap. Okay. You know, like I'm laying down, head on his lap, kind of facing towards him. He starts making out with me. Cute. Okay. Whatever. Chokes me, which is fine, I guess. But like, I also don't know you. chokes me and opens my eyeball. Like, he literally does one of these very hard. Like, I was a little scared. And then does one of these, opening my eyeball. Remember, I'm in this position. And gives me this look that I have never seen in my entire life, besides maybe on a true crime, of just utter, like, fascination, like, wanting to eat my eyeball. Like, I literally thought he was gonna rip my eyeball out, okay? So I immediately sit up. That's kind of when he asked me, I think one of the last times, to see my feet. Things got quiet. I literally just sat there. I looked around for a second, composed myself, and was like, all right, I'm gonna go. Grabbed my shoes, grabbed my purse. He awkwardly said absolutely nothing, but then stuck out his hand for a handshake in the most weirdest way I've ever seen in my life. I awkwardly gave him that handshake and said, alrighty, and left the apartment. It was the most bizarre thing ever. And also just like, trust your gut, because when I went to the bathroom there and I came back, I did not touch my drink. Did I really think he spiked my drink? No, but I just had such a bad feeling of being there, and like, I was not even gonna risk it. And I feel like if you're not even comfortable drinking your drink after you go to the bathroom, you should get out of there. I should have got out of there sooner, but like, I was baffled. I was confused. I'm like looking at this dude who was like so great on our date and is now opening my eyeball and looking at me like this and in a vulnerable position since I'm on his lap, asking for my feet, like utterly baffled. Do I think I was going to be murdered? Hopefully not, but that was the vibe I was getting with the whole eyeball choking sitch. Like, TMI, like, that's fine. That was not fine. What he was doing was so murdery, is all I'm going to say. So this is your sign to not go based off vibes on a date and go to a man's house, as well as maybe don't go on a date with the guy from Ohio that has no social media. Just a thought, I guess. Like, go with your gut, because I have never, like, pre-date have had such, like, a bad feeling about a date and still went, besides this one. And my bad feeling was proven to be correct. So, yeah, that was my story time of the time that I went on a date with a man who I feel like was low-key a murderer. So, good luck out there in the dating world.
This by far has been the worst date that I have ever been on in my life, and that man will never hear from me ever again. So boom, we go to this restaurant. Off the rip, before we even get anything, he's very touchy, right? Cool. I'm like, bro, I'm not really like no touchy person, and if you know me, you know I am on the spectrum, right? So like, for me, I have to be comfortable for me to want to do that. And you have to understand me to understand that, right? And it's not me being mean. It's not me being rude. It's that I might not be comfortable like showing lots of PDA and like lots of like touching and like hugging and like rubbing on me and stuff. Like, I'm just not comfortable with that. I'm just not that type of person. Like, I like that from my person, just like not in front of everyone. So then boom, you have all these people pull up in the middle of our date. That's cool, you have your friends and stuff, but this is only date number 2, right? You got all your homeboys and stuff like pulling up to the scene. Like, I don't know these people, and you're not making me feel normal. The girls come over and sit by me, right? I'm thinking it's like, okay, I'm a girl's girl. If y'all know me, I'm a girl's girl real bad. And they're like chilling. They're like, your dress is so pretty. Woo, woo, woo. They're asking me where I got my dress from. Just being a girl's girl, right? This man hits me in my face. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking. and I'm not like crying about it. I am like in shock. He literally was like, I said, I said, don't you ever do that again in your life. Don't ever put your hands in my face again in your life. I said, why would you hit me in my face? You were talking to the girl, and what? Because I wasn't kissing your. I can talk to whoever the I want to in here, and you're not gonna. That does not give you the right to ever put your hands on me. Have you lost your mind? He will never. I blocked him. He will never be spoken to again. He's like, I'm gonna get your nails and I'm gonna take you to here. You're never gonna hear from me again. You will never. If you hear from me again, it's gonna be from the police. Because what? Then I'm like, take me home now. He's like, I'll take you home at 2. No, you're gonna take me home right now, or I'm gonna get an Uber and I'm leaving this. Period. He's like, okay. I was like, actually, you don't even have to take me home. I will just get an Uber and leave this myself. I can pay for the Uber myself. I'm out of here. I'm gone. He's like, no. I'll take you. Boom, takes me home. He's like, I'm gonna walk you to your door. I'm like, all right, but I'm sleepy, so I'm finna go to bed. You're not finna come in here. He tried to bogart his way in. He was like, I'm finna go take your plate and your bags and sit them on the counter. Next thing I know, this nigga's shoes off. What are you doing? I said, what are you doing? 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 Get your feet back in your shoes. Get your feet back in your shoes. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get the what? What is happening? Then I'm like, okay, bet. I say, no, what are you doing? I said, I'm finna go to bed. I start cleaning up. That's how you know, bro. I'm closing shift. I'm closing shift, bro. I get here, I'm like, boom, I'm throwing away the stuff that I had from earlier. I'm picking up the stuff that when I was getting ready from earlier from the date. I'm closing shift, bro. I'm closing shift. Eventually, I'm like, you need to come on. I said, I don't know why you're getting so comfortable, but you're finna leave. He tries to pull me on my bed. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop doing that. Stop right now. Stop. He's like, I can't get a hug. No. I said, you can get out. You can get out. You can get out. I'm finna call the police. Are you stupid? I've never in my life on a second date. Then he told me he loved me. I'm in love with you already. I'm literally in love with you. You're literally not in love with me. And that's what's so frustrating to me. People do not be in love with me. They really don't be caring about me. And I'm not trying to cry and I'm not trying to be sad. But like people genuinely don't be in love with me. They literally be infatuated with me because I'm pretty. They really don't care. They really don't. People don't really. I'm just being honest. They really don't. People think pretty privilege is so grand, so great. Yeah, but people really don't talk about you. Let's just be honest. They don't. They think you're pretty and they want to be around you. Why? Because you're pretty. Girls want to be around you. Why? Because you're pretty and you can get them in places and woo woo woo. Guys want to be around you because you're the baddest in the room that day. Like, they want to feel like they're that nigga. It's an ego boost, but they really don't talk about you. They really don't. They really don't. And I'm just so over it. And this is why I don't date. So, good night.
Okay, so now that y'all have seen those ridiculous stories, y'all, you know, as I always say, y'all, be careful out here dating. Like, I'm so glad I'm not in the dating pool no more. Like, cause period. Like, I'm just super glad. But I really want to talk about the last story. Okay. Dude was a walking red flag. Like, all the stories is terrible, don't get me wrong, but I mean, like, the last story, I put last for a reason because I really wanted to touch on this and talk about this. Notice how I always talk about spiritual health, because people just think I say it just to say it, like, oh, you're over spiritualizing things. Like, no, once you get it, you get it. Everything is spiritual, y'all. So things that you attract in your life, that is a spiritual process. That's why I speak about it so much, because I don't feel like a lot of content creators speak about it. Like when I really take time to talk and do the commentary at the end of these videos, it's because I really am passionate about helping and speaking about these topics, things that I wish I would have known and listened to when I was younger, and mistakes that I wish I wouldn't have probably made, but then again, it wouldn't have made me who I was, okay? So spiritual health is really, really important. Notice how she said, people, don't give a F about me. Like pretty privileged people want it, but it's not basically a good thing. She was venting about that, and I highly feel like she is attracting what she is. Point blank period. Not even gonna say what she is, but what she feels about herself. Okay. So if you're saying things like, all people don't really care about you, they just want to use you because of your looks and all that kind of stuff, that is what you will attract. Okay. Now, people debate on pretty privilege, whether it's a real thing or not. Not whether it's a real thing or not, but whether that people who are pretty have a downfall of being pretty. I have said before on my channel, like, pretty privilege is a real thing. Absolutely. Do people benefit from that? Absolutely. However, it can be a bad thing as well. I do understand her in that aspect, because I have had people bluntly tell me, because it was me and my friend who I call my twin. We're both really tall. I'm 5'11". She like 6 feet. People thought we were sisters. That's why we called each other twins. And, I literally had a dude was like, yeah, I wanted to hang out with y'all and walk around with y'all so I can like feel like the man, look like the man, whatever, and that's not the first time that has happened. People will literally use you based off your looks just to like boost their ego, look good out there and all of that. It just is what it is. That's just the world out here. That's how men are. They want to be standing next to somebody who look good, the baddest chick, whatever. It just is what it is. Okay. So I'm not saying that the points that she said regarding pretty privilege isn't real. However, I will say though, you still attract what you feel about yourself. I have said many times, and I have a whole story. I have my divorce story that's on this channel, and I have how I manifested my fiance, where I break this down of my whole process of finding my person. And it was a spiritual journey and things that I had to do and work on to attract the person that I have now. Okay. I couldn't get to him because of how I felt within myself. So frequency wise, we wasn't on the same frequency to meet each other at this point in our lives. Okay. So I had work I had to do. He had work he had to do. And then we aligned with each other. Okay. So when you're out there dating and you're saying things like that negative about how people, just want to use you and how this is why I don't date. And women, I try to stay away from women who be like, oh, all men cheat. They're all the same, because that's not the truth. Honestly, it's not the truth. It's just the truth in their reality. You create your own reality at the end of the day. So it's like if you're thinking these things, speaking these things, believing these things, that's what will continue to manifest, because you are giving that energy a world. I hope that makes sense to people. So once you start uplifting yourself, working on yourself, like speaking highly of yourself and not settling for less, like, what? I know my husband is out there and I'm going to just work on myself so I can be my best self, so I can attract him eventually when the time is right. That's when it happens, people. If you go on YouTube and type in how I manifested my fiance, how I manifested my boyfriend, how I manifested my husband, almost every single story is the same thing. They always say that they done the inner work on themselves, and then when they was not expecting it, they got blessed with a person who they didn't even see as their soulmate. It's not even like a person comes in and it has a halo over them, like, oh, there's my soulmate right there. Like, no, even me myself, I did not know my husband was going to be my husband. Like, he came in my life and I didn't even think it was going to be that. Like, we just was cool, you know what I mean? And it turned into that. And I started realizing, like, oh my gosh, I attracted this person. So you have to speak highly of yourself so you can attract better. However you feel about yourself, that is what you will attract. Okay. So if you're in love with yourself, happily in love with yourself, then the people who you will attract will also be happily in love with you. Now, you might attract some low vibrational people from time to time, but overall it will not be that experience. It'll start getting better and better and better. Like, the more I worked on myself, the better I was attracting. I was attracting all kind of people that have never attracted before. Like, seriously, like people of all different careers, people, you know, of all different financial status, all of that. But that was when I start really working up on myself. Okay. So and then you have to know what you want, because somebody be like, because there's women out here who will be like, oh, I want a good guy. You know, all I want is a good guy, a nice person. They will get blessed with a nice guy, good person, but then they don't want him and they push him away. Like, no, I don't know if I like him, or it's not a vibe, or it's not, you know what I mean? So it's like, you got to really know what you want and stand on that, you know, because you can get blessed with it anytime. But if God sees that you're not ready for that, he'll send you that and you're just going to push it away. Then why would he bless you with it? Okay. So spiritual health, y'all, very, very important, very important. Okay. So that's all I have to say on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure you love yourself before you ever go out in the dating world. Okay. If you're looking for anything serious, so you can reflect back what you feel about yourself. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see y'all in the next one.